How are we doing today? My name is Sean Kelley. I'm the CarBizCoach, and we are going to be having a great webinar today. We've got two friends of mine, both of them in different positions in different dealerships in different states, and we're going to have an awesome chat with these guys today. Again, our goal in Drive Coaching is to ensure we create winning cultures by coaching excellence for every member of your team. And only through coaching can we ensure our dealer partners achieve true success. So today, we're going to be talking about creating employee and customer loyalty through appreciation. My name is Sean Kelley, again, the CarBizCoach and the CEO of Drive Coaching. You can look us up by just Googling hashtag coaching the car business. Today, we have Jim Taylor, known as hashtag Nooga Car Guy. He's joining us from Chattanooga, and he's the Internet Director of Capital Toyota and Lexus of Chattanooga. In addition to that, we have Kylan Anderson, your car guy, hashtag Kylan Cares, and he's at Gay Family Kia in Houston, Texas. So, guys, to go into the topic, or to speak to the topic, we're creating employee and customer loyalty through appreciation. This is something that starts at the top and goes all the way to our sales force. And this is a great way to, lower turnover by meeting the employee engagement needs, and also ensure our customers always come back and buy more cars from our salespeople and our dealers. So there's a saying in business, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard: business goes where it's valued and stays where it's appreciated. And that's the same that's the customers. That's the same for our employees. They have to feel valued and they have to know they're appreciated. We can't treat them like Milton in Office Space. So, it being the holidays and all, I figured we'd have a nice little holiday Drive Coaching webinar and chat about these things and see if we can add value to you as a sales manager or salesperson at a dealership. So I'm going to go ahead and start this conversation off with my friends here. Say hi, please, like I mentioned. And then we got Kylan. Kylan, say hi.
Hello.
So we're going to go ahead and start this off with on the leadership side of it. And I'm going to introduce Jim here, and then we'll just ask Jim some questions about showing appreciation for dealerships and how we can help our dealers be successful by doing this. So Jim has been in the car business Jim, how many years have you been in the car business?
I've been in it for 30 plus. I'm kind of losing count now. I was born into it. I had a family that owned car dealerships, so I got to start out washing cars and work my way up.
Very cool. So Jim worked his way up from washing cars, and now he's the Internet Director of Capital Toyota, Lexus of Chattanooga. So Jim, why do you enjoy leading people in the auto industry?
Well, it's an opportunity for me because as I worked my way up through the ranks, so many times we had people that just wanted the end result, and they weren't willing to show me or mentor me or give me the tools and the words that I needed to overcome objections and to be successful and truly help the customer. So I can't expect anybody to do something I wouldn't do myself. So I need to get down there and interact with our team every day and help them with phone calls, text, emails, and work with them and show them how to do that in a way that they'll get a response.
I really appreciate what you said there. You talked about leading by example and modeling good leadership behavior, by diving in with the employees, and instead of telling them what to do, you're participating. I think that's one of the most important employee engagement needs. And, this whole webinar is kind of tied into employee engagement needs. If you think about with your sales teams, right, they need to feel appreciated for what they do. And I think that just being able to show that authentic appreciation and helps them know that the leaders care about them, right? So how, I guess I would ask you, how powerful are the words thank you in regards to working with your employees?
For me, they're huge. So many times we don't get a thank you or a pat on the back. And the thing that I've learned, and I learned it, through the man that I work for, and how I feel about it, but somebody could pat me on the back and I'll go run through brick walls for them. But, so you could give me $100 bill and I'd be offended. So the words "thank you" and "I appreciate you," you just can't put a dollar amount with that, how it makes you feel.
Sure. Yeah, I think a lot of times dealers are trying, not to say bonuses are bad, friends, not to say that at all, but dealers try to throw money at it. Kylan's like, yeah, keep the bonuses coming. But they throw money at things when there's other ways that they can achieve employee satisfaction. And I agree. I think part of it's just saying thank you. So when you guys, what are some of the benefits, I guess, that you've seen in showing this appreciation when your leadership is consistently showing appreciation and letting let the employees know how thankful you are for their work? What are some of the benefits you guys have seen?
Well, the biggest one is it's absolutely contagious. So now I've started this thing in the dealership. It's been going on now for a pretty good while, where I go around and say, has anybody told you today that I appreciate you? And they go, no, Jim, nobody's told me this today. Well, I want to be the first to let you know. So now when I walk across the dealership, the people in the service department are chasing me down to say, has anybody told you today? Or a salesperson or an office person. So it's become contagious within the dealership of just those simple words, I appreciate you, or thank you for what you're doing.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds like I guess you could say you've created a culture of appreciation at your dealership, because it sounds like every layer in the organization, and no matter what department, they're all grateful for what each other do for each other. How has that affected your business as far as employee engagement, turnover, production, things like that? Have you seen any benefits in having this culture?
I've had one person leave the team in the last year and a half in our business development center. And our salespeople are staying longer. Obviously, if it's not for them, then sometimes people need to try that. But for the most part, when we work alongside of them and we coach them and help them along and tell them when we appreciate them and thank them, but also rather than getting angry about the mistakes that are made, when we get next to them and show them how to do something in a different way, or even just ask them, what are your thoughts? If you were the customer, how would you feel?
Wow.
And these type things have been just unfolding and unpacking all kinds of opportunity. So I don't, did I answer the question?
Yeah, no, it sounds like number one, you've had extremely low turnover, which is amazing. I mean, just a lot of managers and dealers don't even factor in all the time and money spent when you have to recruit, rehire, retrain over and over and over again. So I think that you're limiting that with this culture you've created, and in addition to lowering your turnover significantly, I mean, losing one BDC agent in a year and a half, that's pretty strong. So that's impressive, Jim. So, is this something that has always been a part of your dealership, or is this something you guys have recently created?
No, it hasn't always been a part of our dealership, and through the painful conversations where I've had to talk to people and ask them what went wrong, and they told me the truth, and I had to be willing to look at myself in the mirror, and it starts with me. It starts with me today. I have control over myself and my life and what I'm going to do. I can't control anybody else. So as it starts with me, I'm going to go about my day and try to be that helpful person, not the person that's tearing people down.
That's great. And it sounds like you have to have a certain mindset to even work on your team or be part of your team, Jim. Is there something when you guys are looking for employees, what do you do to ensure they have the right mindset?
Well, when we interview people, Sean, right out of the gate, when I go into that interview, I let them know up front what's expected. I line it out. I say, so, typically you're going to make 60, 70, maybe 80 phone calls a day. Do you have a problem with that? And I ask them, and sometimes they do, but it's better to find it on the front end. But I ask them all kinds of questions, but I let them know right up front what's expected. So that way they don't get into something that they didn't see coming. But
Sure.
so the commitment is the word I'm looking for. I want to find somebody. And a lot of times I find my very best with people that have had bad experiences at their last employment. And when they come to us, when they hear us doing the things that we're doing and trying to work towards being better, and letting people know up front what the expectations are, then it's easier to get there.
Wow, very cool. Yeah, I think that that's really important is that what you're talking about here, where we've got to set expectations up front and ensure a good fit prior to bringing them into the culture. Because if you can find out, that someone has that appreciation mindset, they'll be a good fit, right? And if you find out up front they don't, then it's better just to not bring them on board. So that's a great practice you talked about there. So what are, Jim, I guess give us, before we move on to Kylan here, I want to ask you another question. What are some creative ways? Let's give these guys some actionable items that they can take with them from your leadership standpoint. And by the way, again, we really appreciate all your wisdom. What are some creative ways that managers can show appreciation for their team, other than obviously the bonus, right? What else?
The first thing they need to do is go get involved in that salesperson or BDC reps day. Go and sit with them, hear the calls, look at what they're having to write, look at the questions that they're having to answer. Make sure they have the tools that they need to do that and the proper instruction and somebody showing them and demonstrating that for them. And then the other thing I would say is when you have your meetings, open up the table and let them give you feedback. Let them, if they've got a better idea, let them tell you about it. I don't know everything, but a lot of my great ideas come from just asking my team and putting it out on the table and say, if it was you, what would you do? How could that be better? What are we doing wrong? And they tell me, and then we adjust.
I think that's a fantastic way to get buy-in, right? When you're coming up with new ideas, processes, or ways to solve problems. If your team comes up with the idea, then they own it, right? And they're much more liable that you have 100% buy-in if they built it. So I think that's a great piece of advice, Jim, and a great way to thank your employees and show appreciation is by getting in the trenches with them and understanding what they're truly going through on a day-to-day. So thank you for that wisdom, Jim. We appreciate it, man. So let's talk about Kylan here. So Kylan is a top producer down at Gay Family Kia in Houston, Texas. He sells a heck of a lot of cars, and he is one of the reasons I chose him for our Drive Coaching webinar today was because his amazing way he has of thanking and appreciating his customers. I see this guy on social media every day, and he's always doing it, giveaways and fun, just showing his customers, pictures of them online. So I brought Kylan in, and so Kylan, tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been in the car business, and then I'll start asking some questions.
Awesome. Well, I'm super humbled to be on here. I've been in the car business for about 5 years, but it's probably only been about the last year and a half, maybe 2 years, that I've really started focusing on what I wanted to become within the car business. For the first couple of years, I was just kind of coasting. So over the last year and a half, I've really started to define myself and define who I wanted to be perceived as within the market. And it's just been a lot of fun. It's been a really rewarding, but once I had that clarity of what my vision was and what I wanted to become.
That's awesome. And I definitely I want you to define that for us and tell us a little more about that. Tying Jim's interview into what we're going to talk about, you're looking through the lens of a sales top producing salesperson. So if being part of a culture like Jim's created at Capital Toyota and Lexus of Chattanooga, is that something that interests you? I mean, is that something that you value as a salesperson?
Yeah, absolutely. Having a workplace that appreciates you and that focuses on, their customers, but also focuses on their sales reps, I think is extremely important, which is why I ended up at the dealership that I'm at. I've been at other dealerships that may have been higher producing dealerships, but the appreciation level was definitely not as high as I would have preferred. So yeah, that's extremely important to your sales reps, to longevity. Just like Jim was saying, he's had very little turnover. And it makes a huge difference in the way you feel when you go into work and just feeling appreciated and, that you're not just one other guy that they can replace in a heartbeat. It just makes a big difference in the workplace.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. So speaking for all you sales reps and sales managers out there that are watching this, you can see the importance of a culture of appreciation, because people are willing to work at places where there maybe isn't all the traffic or all the advertising if the culture is that much better. So that speaks volumes to the culture Jim's created. So Kylan, tell us a little bit, how did you crystallize your brand? Tell us about your hashtag and your brand, and why you decided to market yourself in the way you did.
Yeah, so it was the beginning of this year in January. I really started defining the whole hashtag Kylan Cares. And the reason why is because in the automotive industry, especially the sales reps, get a pretty nasty rap for themselves of being sleazy, the used car guy, and I did not want that. That's not who I am. That's not who I want to be perceived as. And so I really started diving into what I could do to change at least one person's opinion at a time. And so I read a book that was a really good book. It's called The Go-Giver, and it's an amazing book, and I really enjoyed it. And it just talks about giving back and helping those around you. And yes, you will be rewarded with sales and with loyalty from your customers, but more importantly, it's going to help give you a better image. And so it's just been really part of my goal. One of my main goals this year is to give back as much as possible. In regards, if I get something back in return, that's not the reason I do it. I do it just because I know it's the right thing to do and give back and just show appreciation to those that I work with and that I have the opportunity to serve my community and also at the dealership.
That's fantastic. Why is ensuring our customers, the people that buy cars from us, that pay our bills, right? Why is ensuring they're appreciated so important?
I think it's so important is because they do pay our bills. And not only that, they can become our friends and our trusted, loyal customers within our community. These are the people that are teaching our kids. These are the people who work at the grocery store. These are people who are in our community. They're not just they're not just a person buying a car. They're individuals within the community. And I love to learn about what each individual person does within our community. I just had an awesome opportunity to meet a couple of professors. One works at a local college, and the other one works at I guess she's at a high school. And it just was amazing to see their dedication. They've been doing it for over 20 years, and just how much they love helping others learn and grow their knowledge. And it was just really neat to get to know them on a more intimate level and a personal level versus just selling them a car and getting them out. And I think my customers really appreciate that because I get to know them. When I call them up on the follow-up, it's so easy to say, hey, how's work going? How's this class going? Or if they're going to school, how'd your tests go? It just, and customers really appreciate that. It makes a big difference.
That's fantastic. Yeah, getting to know them on a deeper basis. I love the fact that you don't look at sales as transactional things that happen once and then it's like next person, right? You're trying to show them the appreciation so they always come back to you. So what do you do to ensure your customers know? Give fellow salespeople, maybe some new guys that were not unlike you, a couple years ago, where you didn't really have that brand and that mission, right? So give them some actionable items. What are some things that salespeople can do to show appreciation to their customers?
I think one of the main things that I've really focused on is the customer experience. I think when they're at the dealership or they're getting ready to come into the dealership, if you're able to give them a good experience and treat them with respect, they're really going to appreciate that, and you're going to be able to express your appreciation to them. But then also just little other gestures. I forgot a couple things, but I brought, I got these little poker chips that I give away. I don't know if it'll focus on it. And, people love them. Like these, I just had a lady call me today saying, hey, I have your poker chip because I like to play, Texas Hold'em, and I keep the poker chip because it's my good luck poker chip. And so she has my cell phone number on her all the time. So she called me today and was asking me about a vehicle. This is a person I've never even sold a vehicle to. They just happened to come by the dealership. We had a little conversation. I gave her one of my chips, and they really appreciate that. They appreciate the little gifts, but you don't always have to give them something. Sometimes your time or just being there to service them after they purchase a vehicle from you, that is a massive way of showing appreciation. I've never ignored a customer, whether they're happy or mad, when they call me after the sale. I always make sure that I'm there for them. If there's something that needs to be fixed, I'd rather be the person fixing it. And I've really have grown a good following because of that. Because when they call me and they have an issue, I don't run from them. I don't hide from them. I don't just send them over to service and say good luck. I make sure I'm there for them. If I need to walk them through the process, then I make sure I'm there for them. And it really makes a big difference. And it just allows them to feel the appreciation I have for their business. Even though I'm not maybe gaining anything by helping them, walking them over to service, but in the long run, it's building a lasting relationship that's going to make a huge difference.
So how has doing this impacted your career? Do you think that this appreciation of your customers, Kylan Cares, has it affected your business at all in your opinion?
Absolutely. I've definitely have gained a stronger following. When I say following, people that are willing to send me their friends and their family. It's in our industry, we always talk about, hey, get referrals, but seldom do we actually do it. There's, that's what everybody says. I want to work off a repeat and referral business. Well, if you're not treating the person right up front, they're most likely not going to refer people to you. So I think it's definitely helped me with getting my referral business up. And because I treat them with so much respect and they can see that I appreciate them, that they almost want to reward me by sending me their friends and their family and allowing me to help them. And I've really shown it a huge appreciation for my service department, which has also helped a lot as well, because when they have a customer over there asking questions about a new vehicle, or they're having issues with their vehicle and service, I'm able to step in and help them out and solve that. So, not just with your customers, you got to show appreciation, but also with your coworkers, because that makes a big difference as well.
So you're saying other departments within the dealership too. You have to thank the service people and the porters and even the managers, right? You got to thank your gyms.
You got to thank your gyms, absolutely. If it wasn't for the managers, it would be kind of hard for us to sit down and work a deal from start to finish. There's just everybody plays a role in the dealership, and you have to appreciate them and respect them. And my receptionist and my wash guys. I have a huge respect for my guys that wash the cars. I make sure I take good care of them. I make sure that they know that I appreciate them. And I'm always telling them that I'm thankful for them and for the hard work that they do. And it makes a huge difference. When you have an emergency, you need to get a car back there and cleaned up real quick. It pays off in the long run, because you're able to use that awesome positive relationship to be able to resolve issues that maybe may have presented a harder task before.
Yeah, that's a great point, man. What else too is, to both your point, it's kind of interesting. You talked about the better customer experience and we also have an employee experience, right? Like, what do they deal with when they come to work every day? When they come to desk a deal with their sales manager, they come to, sit down and look at their internet stats with their internet director. What is that experience like? Is it supportive and appreciative and thankful, trying to help them improve their business? Or is it a beatdown session, right? Same as the customers. It's like everyone expects 5-star service. So I think if we're giving 5-star customer service, that's just the expectation. I think we have to go above and beyond. And one of the reasons I think we chose the perfect two guys for this webinar, because both of you, I think what both of you guys have in common is Jim creates a better experience for every employee, goes above 5 stars. And just like Kylan, you go above 5 stars in your follow-up and the experience that the customers receive. So I appreciate both your wisdom from both of you guys. So I want to ask you guys I'll ask Kylan first, then Jim. I just want to throw out there, what's your best piece of advice for Kylan, for you, for salespeople? If you could give them one just awesome nugget, it doesn't have to be about appreciation, it could be about anything, especially new salespeople, new to the industry. What can they do to ensure their customers feel appreciated from now on? What do you think? What's your best piece of advice?
So one thing I wish I would have been ingrained in me from the day I started in the car business, which is just a little thing that takes literally probably 2 minutes to do, is send a handwritten thank you card. If you take the 2 minutes to send a handwritten thank you card and you put it in the mail while they're sitting in finance and you're not doing anything, you just write a handwritten thank you card and then you put it in the mailbox the next day and they get it in 3 or 4 days. That right there, I think if I would have had that ingrained in with me from the day one of getting the car business, I think that would have changed a lot of things for me.
It's crazy. That is an awesome thing you do. Everyone gets emails, right? And now people are sick of emails. When they get a real piece of mail that they can hold in their hand, it's a game changer. So that's awesome. Kylan, thank you. Jim, how about you?
Can I get one last thing? Sorry, I just thought of it. Please, one last thing. Sorry, one other nugget. Take pictures with every one of your customers. That's another one. And you can put that inside of the thank you card and send it to them. It'll cost you probably less than $1 for the thank you card and the picture to print out. So I wrote that down. I almost forgot to tell you. So
no, we appreciate it. That's really good, especially if you guys. A lot of you guys are drive-centric dealer partners. So if you're a drive-centric dealer partner, don't forget you've got your Snap tool built right into your app. So all you have to do when you sell a car is just hit this bad boy and hit delivery photo. And then all we have to do is snap that photo. It goes right on Facebook. And man, what a great way to create a memory for that customer and enhance the experience. So that's, Kylan, thank you. Yeah, take those delivery photos. And like even what Kylan said, print it out and email and mail it to them. Wow, that's strong stuff. So Jim, how about you, Mr. Taylor? What are your thoughts there? Best piece of advice for sales managers or leaders in the automotive industry?
Well, mine comes from the man that I work for. I call him my Bob. And he told me a long time ago, he said, Jim, people say for your business, location, location, location. But Bob says it's people, people, people that make the difference. And so we can have the best computers and software and all these things that we use as tools, but it can't replace the people. The people make the difference, and we're needed every day in the automotive industry. People make the difference.
Very, very cool. Very cool. I completely agree with you, man. We focus so much on the sale, right? But the sale is all about my employees and my customers, and how do I bring the two together? So that is fantastic, Jim. Thank you for that piece of advice. And I'll throw one out there. And this is something I learned as a manager spent a decade as a manager on the showroom floor. And I learned that not everyone likes appreciation or thank yous in the same way. Okay. So it's up to us as a manager to determine each person's individual way they like to be appreciated. If you have one salesperson, you can throw a party for them in a sales meeting and talk about how they were the greatest salesperson last month and, all that. But if you take another salesperson who's not comfortable with that sort of recognition, that might actually turn them off to you as a manager, believe it or not. So find out what each employee, how they like to be recognized, and then there's a little 3-step recognition process. First off, state the activity they did. Let's just say you see a salesman picking up the screws in the customer parking, right? That's a common plague at most dealerships. By the way, I'm going to invent a way to fix that problem, guys. But right, let's say you see a salesperson picking that stuff up, right? So acknowledge what they did. Hey, Jim, the way you were picking up, or let's use Kylan here. Kylan, the way you were picking up those screws was amazing. No, you didn't think anyone was looking, but I saw you doing that. That speaks to your integrity. Next, let's talk about how it impacts our customers and our dealer. And by the way, if you continue to do that, Kylan, you're going to make sure none of our customers drive out in their new car and end up with a flat tire a mile down the road. So that is really good, helping our dealership. And by the way, finally, the third part of this is speak to what's in it for him if he continues that activity. So Kylan, if you continue to do things like that, you're really going to set yourself apart at this dealership because we have a culture of appreciation and integrity here. So that's a 3-step method to showing appreciation that I've used, and it seems to be a little more impactful than just the whole hey, thank you, right? Or good job. So anyway, just a little tip there. What do you guys think about that?
That was awesome.
Yep. That's good tools.
Awesome. Well, guys, I think we've shared enough of our wisdom. Let me just give you guys the microphone one last time. Kylan, if someone wanted to buy a car from you, my friend, how would they get a hold of you, and why should they come see you? I'm sure they have a lot of reasons to come see you now, but how should they get a hold of you to come buy a car from you, my friend?
The best thing is you can look me up on Facebook, Kylan Anderson, or you can just send me a text message or call me. My cell phone number is 928-243-6316, and I'll be happy to answer any questions or concerns and just make sure you have a positive experience.
Guys, if you're down in Houston, I would say that's the man to go see if you're looking for a vehicle. Kidding me? All right, Jim. If I'm a prospective car salesperson, I'm looking for a job, or I want to come buy a Lexus or a Toyota, and I'm in the Chattanooga area, how do I get a hold of you, my friend?
You can call me at 423-499-9095 and ask for me. And I'll be glad to help you if you're looking to buy a car, and I'll get you with the right people. You can also call my business development center at 423-499-6511, and they'll be glad to help you too. If you're looking for an employment or a job, I'd love to talk to you and see what we can put together and what the match would be, and if it would be a good place for that person. So I look forward to it.
Heck, Jim, I'm thinking about coming and working for you, bud.
Well, you can.
All right. All right. So let me share with you guys one last thing here. And again, Jim and Kylan, we really appreciate your time and you sharing your wisdom here. So I'm just going to show one last thing here, and that would be our drive coaching contact information. Okay, guys. So please feel free to download our drive coaching app. Here's how. Just plug that into your phone browser. drivecoaching.cardtap.com. You can also visit our website at drivecoaching.us. And finally, obviously, join our Facebook group, our Facebook page, our Facebook group, or follow us on Twitter, whichever you like to do. We're going to be doing these webinars regularly, and we're always trying to help sales managers, sales leaders in the auto industry, and salespeople be more successful in their career and enjoy their job even more by bringing coaching to the car business. You can also Google that hashtag coaching the car business, and check out what you find. All right, guys. Thank you again for your time. It's been a true honor and a pleasure. I wish you guys the best of the rest of your 2017, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Sean.
Always welcome. Yep. See you, friends.